What is up, everyone? My name is Demetri, and welcome to the Rise Productive Podcast. Today, in this episode, we're going to talk about getting started, what it takes, how it's going to go, and how the ups and downs may be challenging, but it's all worth it. Get ready for episode 1 of the Rise Productive Podcast. Hey guys, what's up? It's kind of weird. I've never done it like this. I've never had to make a podcast. Never quite had to, do the whole thing where I get close to the mic. It's kind of nice. I know the quality of it's going to be insanely better. I mean, usually the quality's fine. It's just when I sit farther away, there's always the background hiss just from the ambient noise. And now it's not like the sound of good, crisp audio. So that's going to be enjoyable. Getting into the topics, like I said, today I'm going to talk to you about getting started. I just want to say I can't believe I'm starting a podcast. I've always thought those are interesting, and I listen to them a lot. Or a fair amount. I mean, I used to listen to them more, but not much recently. I go on ebbs and flows of content consumption. The only things that are always the same, I'd say, is that every time Thomas Frank or Matt D'Avella put out a new video, and Ali Abdaal, I watch those three guys, and they're that whole productivity group, and Better Ideas as well. I watch them too. I mean, I get into the habit of watching the same people for a while, and then kind of switching it up, I'm just glad it's not like sports YouTubers or Call of Duty YouTubers like it used to be. I mean, that was just kind of cringy looking back on it, but that's what I listen to a lot. Anyways, I want to talk about how I came to the idea of starting an online brand and business. I mean, you're probably thinking to yourself, I was towards the middle of my senior year. Yeah, I was about over winter break of my senior year, and I'd been interested in digital marketing for a while. I took a class there before. I took some online marketing courses, which are interesting, to say the least. I took some Google Ads courses. I took some other courses on SEO and learning how to, keep a website doing well on search rankings. And I thought those were all interesting concepts. Don't get me wrong. But applying it to other people's businesses is not something that sort of interested me in as much as doing it myself for something that would be for me. And I was like, but I don't know what I'm going to do a business on. What am I going to do? Like, look at me. I'm just a dude. Like, I don't know how that's going to go. So I decided to look into it a little bit more, see what I could do. I found something on blogging on a YouTube video by the people who make Create and Go. It's like a blog making course. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it. It's pretty decent stuff. They make good content. They're nice people. They blog. They know how to make money blogging online. And I was just interested in the idea of blogging. I write relatively well. I think the ideas are presented in a decent way. I have a lot of typos before you see any blogs. The editing that's done there is top notch. So I just am glad that I don't have to put those out on a first take basis. Same with me talking. So for this, sure, I might edit it a little, but I'm supposed to talk for like an hour, so I better not mess up that much. It's kind of nice to just be a little more casual about it too. I feel like that's going to make me, mess up less. I'm going a little more topic based rather than script. Not going to randomly go into the mode that I get into when I record. I don't know if you guys have noticed when you've seen a couple bloopers on Instagram. If you haven't checked that out, check out at Demetri Panici on Instagram. That stuff's interesting. But I pretty much just stutter all the time. When I'm doing a recording, I fail, and then I go and I go and I go again. And sometimes the lines that I wrote for myself are just wordy, and I should probably just proofread the script. But instead of doing that, I just go through with it anyway and kind of ad lib on the fly. And I tell you what, that's not easy. It's not. So anyways, getting back into the topic, I realized that I like writing, and doing something creative for a website would be fun. I thought making a website would be fun. I had never built a website before. I had no prior experience using any WordPress except for maybe a little bit when I was at my internship the summer before, but I didn't really know what I was doing when I was on there. I was just kind of editing and maybe getting that speed page up for that website. And I didn't really know much about WordPress, to be honest. Like, cool, I learned how to install some plugins. Wow. And wow. That's some hard stuff, you know. Install new plugin. Top 10 tech tip 2020. No, but it was not too hard. And then I went into trying to do WordPress for myself. And building nice pages is not easy, especially since, I hope you guys like my website. I hope you guys think it's functional. I know that there are some things that I need to fix regarding, like, the newsletter sign up is kind of weird for some people. Like, it's this error called cookie nonce is valid. I actually just got a message on LinkedIn about this, but my thing is this. I need to get the MailChimp form on that page, but I needed to get it to look in the right color format. The only problem is you need to like do coding for that, I think, because I remember trying to do that and it was just like, please, you can't change anything unless you know how to do this specific type of coding. And I tried to figure it out, and there's a lot of little bits of coding and HTML I've learned from making a website. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know why this MailChimp one was harder than anything I had gotten to any, I hadn't gotten to anything that hard yet, apparently. Or maybe I was just off my game and I need to just recheck. But the newsletter form I use is okay. I mean, until I fix that, sure, I got my ebook, pop-up that shows up like the first page on the home page. There's a pop-up and it's like, hey guys, I want to sign up to get a copy of my free ebook. And I say, yeah. And I type my name. I, being somebody who just wants to sign up to get the free ebook. And essentially, if you put your email and address, nope, you don't need to put your address. If you put your email and name in there, you're going to get my newsletter the same. I mean, essentially, what a newsletter is just signing up to an email list, and you get, a newsletter each week that's sent out to everybody in the audience. Like, I write it each week and then I send it to everyone in the audience and contact list I have that subscribe to the email list. So that's how an email list works. So if you get my free ebook, you're signed up to my email list as well because you got my emails. Like, you're on my email contact list now, so therefore I'm going to send you the stuff if you sign up for it. And if you don't want it anymore, like, totally fine. I'm just telling you how it works. But yeah, so if you have that issue, I'm sorry. I will get to it. Lots of moving parts right now. Hopefully in the long term, my website is a little more functional than it is. It's not functional. What I was trying to say to the first place before this tangent happened was, I hope you like the website, because besides hosting it, which is like where on some database, I have used DreamHost for my host. DreamHost hosts the files of what's on the website, right? So it's like the hard drive for the website, and it's hosted somewhere else. And that's cool, right? And that's the only thing I have to pay for, because WordPress is free. And every other plugin I use, every other single plugin, like Elementor and all these different plugins that usually upsell you on pro versions, I have for free. If I use the pro version of even half of the plugins I have on my WordPress page, it would cost me like $40 a month minimum. I don't know why. I can't. I just can't. I maybe will, like, if when it gets to the point where enough traffic's coming to the website where it's not how it's supposed to be, and people are like, well, this is annoying, then I will probably hire someone to hard code everything. So I remember hearing about this on Thomas Frank's podcast, the College Info Geek podcast, very good podcast. His co-host, which I'm blanking the name on right now, is a programmer, and he essentially wrote all of the code for the College Info Geek website. And I think that's the route I'll eventually go, because it looks great. First of all, it looks great. And second of all, it's quick. It's insanely quick. They use a mixture, I think, of hard coding everything and probably WordPress Rocket, which is like the best speed option. Like, I could cut down my speed optimization plugins to 1 from like 6 if I just use a WordPress Rocket and paid for it, but I'm not going to. I understand the concept that more plugins makes the website slower, but like, where it's at right now, it's faster with all the plugins than it would be without, because before I put all the plugins in, it was slower, so I did my best. Use some other like different types of ways to speed it up. So I thought it was a good process, and learning that process was fun. So it was a little bit different than I expected. I talked about this in an Instagram post, but it took me a long time to get like everything up before I started that YouTube channel and stuff. I mean, like between the website and the book, 300 hours. 300 hours. It took a lot of time. It was from like January 17th. I'm going to say January 17th, okay, because I was doing courses on like that I had gotten up until then. And the thing about that is I don't think I had taken any time and actually put it towards making the business until that date, because that's when I get billed for the DreamHost monthly subscription, because I didn't buy it in 1 month lump sum. Nope, 1 year lump sum, because I wasn't sure whether I was going to use it. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't sure, like, is this going to work out? I don't want to pay for a full year. But then again, in like 8 months, it's going to be like the whole month, year, or month sum lump. I can't talk. The whole year will be paid within the first 8 months. So if you know what I'm saying, like buy in bulk sort of thing. And it's just not, it's not something that I like doing. Like big lump sums I'm not a fan of it. But I get, like, financially, I probably should have just said, I'm going to stick to this and buy it for the year. But then again, 1 year of DreamHost is really cheap, you know? Like, throughout the year, I mean, I think it's like $6 a month with email. No, $7 a month with email. So I have the hello@riseproductive.com email that people can send to me. And it's nice to have that extra inbox and stuff, you know, so I don't have to deal with the whole, you know, using my personal email and people knowing what that is. So I'm glad I got that, because G Suite is expensive in comparison. I mean, this thing's like $2 a month, and then G Suite's like $5. But think about the difference between $2 and $5 a month. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, that's almost $40 for the whole year and more. So if I can do math right, I'm not sure. Also, I think it might have gotten up to 10 recently. That's probably why I didn't do it, because that's significant. So after I thought about making the website and I had started building the website, I was like, yeah, I want to write blogs. You know, maybe I'll write blogs once a week. Yeah, that'd be good. Much fun. Big fun time. And then later on, I decided, as I was making the website, I was like, I want to write an ebook. You know, Thomas Frank inspired me here. He has his 10 steps to doing better in college or something to that effect. And I was like, I want to make a 10 steps book, but I want to make it about like strictly time management, productivity, that sort of thing. And I'm like, just first of all, Thomas, thank you for your content. It's ideal. You and Matt and Ali and Better Ideas make such good content. Like, you inspire me all the time to do what I'm doing. And, you know, every week I'm just like, hey, thanks for them, because you guys did a great job of getting me out of a rut in college. So everyone gets through life ruts, but you guys definitely did a fantastic job of helping me get out of that. So thank you for that. Anyways, I took inspiration from that ebook and said, hey, I want to write a 10 steps to saving time and doing more. And when that happened, honestly, I didn't know where it was going to go. I wrote the 10 chapters out regarding like what each was going to be outline wise. And then after that, I was just like, okay, I need to write this. Believe it or not, it took me a week and a half of writing to write that book. And that's like 80 PDF pages, single spaced. Dang. Looking back on that, what was I on? I woke up and most days I just wrote a page. Or not a page, sorry, a step. Most days I wrote a step, because think about it. There's 10 steps. There's an introduction. There's an about the author and a conclusion, which took me, like no time at all. It's 2 pages. But the introduction, I'd say, is a step. It was kind of like a little less than half. Actually, let's say it was like 11 steps if you add everything up together on the ends. So yeah, I wrote like 0.8 steps a day. That's a lot because a lot of those steps were like 9 pages. So rip. That was an interesting couple of weeks. And the thing was, I was only taking one class at the start of this semester because of the program I'm in. Basically, like some grad courses doubled as undergrad courses, so I got to, double dip. And the grad courses started a little later, so I was in one class for the first couple months of school, or the first month of school, sorry. And doing that, honestly, 10 out of 10. Great thing. Thanks for that. That's great. I really appreciated the extra time because it got me to a place where I can say, I'm going to be productive and do something else. Thought it was interesting there. So anyways, after I started writing the book, I was like, man, remember when you used to make YouTube videos, Demetri? Remember when they were cringy vlogs? I was trying to be funny back in the day. Granted, like, humor's subjective, so I don't know if they are actually funny. I also made video game content too. That was interesting. I made video game content. Wow. Time and life changes you. That's crazy. I made video game content. I sat down one summer and made like 200 videos to backlog so that I could have extra time during the school year and still have content. And you know what I did halfway through the school year? I completely abandoned the YouTube thing, and the scheduled uploads just kept coming through, and I had not done anything to keep the channel up at all. And no, you can't find the videos if you're asking, because I know you're asking. No, you can't find the videos. They're all privated, or no, they're all unlisted. So technically, I can show people. Just not, probably not going to do that. Sorry. My name back in the day was Xclaw, though. And I don't think the channel's named that anymore. So not like you can even find it. Haha. Because I rebranded and said I was going to come back probably going into the second semester of my sophomore year. Yeah, sophomore year. And then instead of doing that, I didn't. So yeah. But going into this whole building the online community thing, I was like, yeah, but you like making YouTube videos. And your PC now does not suck. Because back in the day, I just had a laptop, which I still have. Good for you, laptop. It's an Asus. I don't know the name of the laptop, but I know it has like an underpowered i7, which means it can multitask, but it can't do anything strong. It didn't have an SSD in it, so it had a hard drive, and it had a GeForce or NVIDIA GeForce 840M, which with like 2 gigs of dedicated graphics. So it was good for like some basic video editing, maybe like 1080p, 720p. Yeah, 720p. And then I was like, I need to get an SSD in this. So I put an SSD in this during the year, even though I already had this PC I got, which last winter break, I think, last winter break, I was like, I want to start doing video editing because I know I can do that, but I need a computer that doesn't suck. So I decided to do the video editing thing, and it was nice. It's fun. I made back my money on the purchase, which was good. That's half the battle. You're gonna invest in yourself. You need to make sure the investment comes back. So yeah, this has been a wonderful investment. I mean, now I got 2 monitors, and I'm so much more productive on this thing than I was on my laptop. I feel like I can get so much more work done. So good times there. But yeah, now that I had this new PC, I was like, I can make better videos. You have better ideas and you have better concepts of what quality content is as you get older. I understand what lighting is now. I didn't know what lighting really was before. I didn't really care that much. I mean, I was just trying to be fun. I was trying to have fun. And I am still having fun, don't get me wrong. But the quality, I just want to up it a bit. And then I got this iPhone 11 and I'm like, nails in the coffin, boys. I mean, I need to make this a thing. I need to make YouTube videos a thing. And I came storming out the gates when I got home from whole quarantine with just setting up, a place to record and putting some lighting up, asking the fam for some daylight colored lights. Because my basement is a little yellow, which is fine. It's a fine color, like when you're in it, but the look of it on video is a little off. I mean, I'm kind of tan, so that plus yellow means like just very yellow. So I didn't really want that, which is okay. I mean, like, I found out what white balancing is in the first video. So yeah, like I'm learning. It's nice to learn about video. I mean, it's fun. So learning about the video in the last couple of weeks has been fun, and it's been really great to see the feedback. It's been really great to produce the content. But segueing into the next part of this, like I said, I built that website. I wrote that book, and then I built out the YouTube platform. And it took me 300 hours to get to the point of launching my first YouTube video and launching my social media campaign. Yeah, 300. Jesus. That was insane. I mean, honestly, like from January 14th to I think March 27th. Do I have that memorized? That's kind of cute if I have that memorized. So yeah, I mean, it took me 300 hours, and that's a lot of work, but it was worth it. I mean, everything looked good. The website didn't look bad. People were complimenting me on that. People were saying, yeah, your first YouTube video looks pretty good. And honestly, and the ebook, people were kind of impressed with the ebook. They're like, oh, Demetri wrote a book? What? When did he have time to do that? When did he do that? Why did he do that? That's pretty cool. Yeah, so that happened. And starting's the hardest part. That's what this next segment's going to be about. Starting is the hardest part. And you know what's hard? The hardest part is thinking about something and putting like pen to paper, or I got to find a way to say keyboard to computer. Keyboard to computer? Is that fine? Is it anyone okay with that? I don't know. But like anytime you want to write something down and then like making it a tangible thing after that idea, like that 3-step process, I'm going to talk about it in a vlog. Probably see the vlog after this actually, but podcast people, if you're watching 22 minutes in, then you're legends for that. So thank you. Get that watch time up. I need to get a certain amount of hours of watch time before the channel hits its monetization or whatever. Yeah. No, but seriously, 300 hours was a lot, and getting started was the hardest part. But now, like it is, granted, not easy to keep up with everything, but that's mainly because I'm still in school. And it's because my schedule changes a lot. Like when I have a work schedule, like last summer I had a work schedule, like cool, it's a lot of time, but I know when I'm working. Like I've always said this when I was younger, like, man, I can't wait to be older because homework conceptually sucks. Like conceptually, the concept of doing work at home, like not, being quarantined and like, actually, kind of into that because people are complaining about the fact that they can't separate their work from their home. Yet you expect the entirety of people below the age of 18 are legally obligated to do homework all the time is just hilarious, because then you become adults and you're like, homework sucks. I don't want to work at home. I don't know why everyone's voice above the age of 18 sounds like that. But anyways, in all seriousness, like, yeah, homework conceptually is not fun. But when I had an internship last summer that was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Great time, great people. But the thing was, when I went home, it was done. I turned my brain off if I chose, or at least I knew I didn't have anything extra to do. Granted, some jobs don't respect this. Some work-life balances at jobs are not great. But if you find a decent enough job to where you just go home and that work-life balance is fine, I have plenty of nights I could make a video, edit a video, whatever. I got up at 5, man. I got time. I got up at 5 when I have a job. I work out and probably instead maybe do some recording or something, something where I'm alone and I'll get really productive work done. Then I'd run, then I go, and at night, sure, if I got some more juice in me, brain energy wise, I can pump out some social media content. That's not the hardest thing in the world. So like knowing that I'd have a full-time thing going is like, yeah, that's time. But doing it with school recently, not easy because nothing's consistent. Yes, I have class times. Yes, I have deadlines. But I don't have to be legally obligated to do those deadlines at certain times. And even for someone like me who block times and task managements the heck out of their days, you never know exactly how long things are going to take. And you never know how hard things are going to be. When you're working in a job, yes, you have to learn new skills, but most of the time it's like repeated processes. So, yeah. School's been interesting while trying to do this the last couple weeks, but it's been successful. I've been good, feeling good this morning. Started recording this at like 6:20. I woke up at 5:30 today. I know, late for me. Ooh, big late guy. Not productive at all. Never wakes up early. Then after that 300 hours though, and after getting into the grind of school and doing this, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Things change. It's interesting to me how every single week I learn and think of something new that I want to do for this channel. Like, I don't know. If people ask me, what's your plan? Yeah, sure. I put out in my newsletter last week that I want to do 3 videos a week. Do I know that? Is that written in? It is written on the internet. But is it written in stone necessarily? No, it is not. I don't know whether I want to do 3 vlogs a week in one of these. I don't know whether I want to do 2 vlogs a week, 1 sit-down video in one of these. I don't know, man. Like, every week something new's coming to my head. I have information overload. Or I don't think it's necessarily that, but I have a lot of ideas all the time. I'm a very high energy person when it comes to being able to think. I mean, like, my brain is on and it does not turn off. That thing needs to take intentional breaks. I enjoy intentional breaks because I don't give myself any breaks. I need to stop that. Practice what you preach, man. But anyways, like, that's why, you gotta love the process. Because for me, if I didn't love this process, man, I'd be burnt out in a week. Because I work a lot. And I don't necessarily think any of it's work, though. I only say work because I haven't marked in my Toggle time tracking app as work. But essentially, I'm just doing something that's fun and that I'm trying to build out the online community and business. And if it works out, it works out. And that's the great part. But it is not going to be all sunshine and rainbows in the start. Like, me trying to build this out is difficult. And getting those 3 steps of, like, thinking about it, writing it down, and then researching what you can actually do about it, is something you got to do with anything. People need to take more time to reflect because we have all this extra time right now. I think it's really good to say, hey, I got some time. Let's take that time and do more with it. Not just sitting around watching Netflix. I don't have a problem with that. I've said on my videos before, like, that's still a good thing. But if you're working on something and you're not necessarily getting to the point where you're thinking about why you're doing it, especially at jobs, or if you're also watching a Netflix show and you're just like, cool, this was a fun movie. Are you ever really thinking what you want in your life? Like, not to be a downer or anything, but people go years of their lives once they've reached the, professional world, and they don't really think about, what do I want to do? People say into their 30s and 40s, like, kind of jokingly, but mostly serious, I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. And I'm like, that's not good. Like, why? You're like 40. That's not good. Like, don't get me wrong. You have to do what you need to do to keep food on the table. But I doubt they take the time to conceptually think, yeah, I want to do this. No, I don't want to do this. Most of the time they just think no, and they don't think, oh, what could I do to fix that? They just think, oh, hair. They think, why? Why? They think, why am I doing this? They don't think, what could I do to change it? So make sure you know that there's ideas in your brain. And for me, like, a new idea comes every 5 minutes. That's not the same for everybody. And most people don't put those ideas down or act on the ideas. I've been putting off acting on the ideas for months before I started everything. I mean, like I was saying, I had no idea. Like, I was doing digital marketing courses, and I was like, yeah, maybe I could make something. Maybe I can make an online marketing business. Yeah, let me do that. And then I tried it, or at least tried the concept of it. And then I said, oh, I don't really like that. Let me try something else. And I don't think enough people take the ideas, write them down, then take actionable steps towards trying that. Because if they did, a lot less people would be upset with where they're working. A lot less people. I know not everybody has the time, the opportunity to do everything they want in life. But I guarantee you there's a lot of people that just aren't acting on the thoughts. And that's half the battle. Like, I talk about time management a lot in my free ebook, 10 Steps to Saving Time and Doing More. If only I could say the name right. 10 steps to saving time in doing more is an ebook where I talk a lot about, no excuses necessarily. Like, I talk about no excuses in a different way, I'd say, than a lot of other people. Like, I don't have time to work out. Yeah, that's not exactly true, because either you're working a job that's labor intensive enough where you're working out all day, because anybody who acts like they don't have enough time to work out is working a labor intensive enough job where they don't really need to. So either you're in that crowd where you're working like 70 hours a week and you're just busting workout left and right 7 days a week. Either you're those people who don't really need to work out, or you're the classic like 45-hour a week, maybe even 40-hour a week job, and your time management's just not good. And I don't mean to be rude there, but if my time management wasn't good, I wouldn't have figured out, that I wanted to do all this stuff. I had an immense amount of time when I was in my one class for the first month of the school year. And I could have just said, hey, this is a time for me to mentally de-stress. And that's what a lot of people do. And don't get me wrong, mental de-stressing is great, but you don't really need to do it more than once or twice a week. Like, your mind isn't that weak. All right? Like, my mind ain't that strong. And I tell you what, you don't need to do it more than once a week. Like, it's just about the mindset. Granted, mine has like changed recently, but like once you get into the proper mindset, the whole I don't have time to work out thing changes. The whole I don't have the ability to change jobs changes. And then you go forward and you think to yourself, well, maybe this whole time I could have done something different. And once that seeds in your mind, then you're probably going to get to a better spot. Then you're probably going to start thinking to yourself, you know what? Yeah, I can change my life. And that's half the battle. Another thing you got to do is go into this next segue after the old sad it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but you got to just do it thing, is you can't care what people think. I remember before launching everything, before the announcement, before the first video post, I thought I was going to get so much flack. Like, I thought it was going to be the old, wow, this is cringy. Like, what are you doing? That's just the doubts everybody has. Everyone has those doubts about themselves most of the times, going into anything new. And you know what? I got a great response because I put in the work and people respected it at the least. People respected it at the least, and at the most, they were supportive and they watch my content and read my content even now. So at the worst, if you put in the work, people are going to respect what you're doing, and they might joke about it sometimes if they're your friends. If you're a guy and you have friends and they joke with it about you, no, that's not how you say that. And they joke with it to you. I don't even know how to say that. They joke with you about it. If they joke with you about it, you are going to be fine. Like, you're just dealing with the normalcies of having guy friends. Like, even, I'm not sure the dynamics for women. I'm sure they give friendly jabs as well. But I know guys do that a lot. Guys give friendly jabs, a little more than friendly sometimes. But you can't care what people think, because if you put in the work and you get some haters out of it, you know within your own mind that, wow, like for me, if someone gave me some flack about it that was really over the top and rude, like, okay, like, did you spend hundreds of hours while also in school and running all the time into making a website and then trying to research how to write an ebook and then write the ebook? Did you do that in like a month and a half? Oh, okay. And then you can kind of just mentally be like, it's fine. Because if people give me flack about it, I know well within my mind that I did what I could to make it look good. I did what I could to try to produce quality content and try to help people. At least at the beginning, it looked fine. And it was functional for the most part. And I did my best effort towards it. And if you know you did your best effort towards it, does it really matter what people think? Does it? Because those small group of people, or that small group of people that's going to hate, is really just not hurting you that much. Because those people that are hating generally will hate once and then just kind of leave. Unless you do something significantly bad to affect people's lives, or you're creating consistent content for like over multiple months, which by that point you'll already have multiple people who are equally as nice fan wise or like follow your content wise, those people are really not going to come back over and over again. They're going to say once, you're dumb. And then like they'll go away until they notice, oh my God, he's still posting content for another month. Maybe it doesn't suck. No, it still sucks. And then they'll hate comment again. Like, okay, guys, I know I dealt with it. And I still sometimes get concerned about what people think, but you just can't. Because starting is hard enough, and getting the ball rolling is hard enough. Caring what other people think is literally you putting yourself in the way. Every single way that you can find an excuse to put yourself in the way is how you won't get started. And moving a little bit in the right direction is better than not moving at all. If you start walking towards, all right, let's give an example. I'm from Chicago. If I walk from Chicago to Seattle, that's a long walk. Even a drive, it's a drive. But if a little bit every day, I walk or run or drive a couple miles in that direction, a long time from now, I'll make it to Seattle. But if I never started, I won't get to Seattle. If the same thing happens with building a side hustle, right? In the start, the first like year or two, like it's probably not going to mean much. Like it's going to be in the sense of getting to Seattle, or in the sense of the side hustle making enough monetization for it to be a full-time thing, or even a little bit of a thing. It's going to mean nothing. I mean, it's genuinely going to mean nothing. But if I do it, then I'll get there. It's like breaking through a wall, essentially, in regards to monetization, or in regards to getting to the destination of Seattle, or whatever it might be for you. If you do it a little bit day by day, then eventually one day you're going to show up there. But until you get there, technically it means nothing. And that's hard for people to wrap their heads around. Like, just because it doesn't mean that you're there, there's a big yet. And just because you don't see Seattle and you can't physically see that it's in front of you. I run all the time, and I tell you what, sometimes I get lost, but I'm not really lost. I'm just like, oh, I don't think I'm there yet. Like I'm not at the point where I see a marker on my runs where I'm doing loops and stuff. I don't see markers that tell me I'm in the spot I need to be to get home. And then I realize I can't see it yet. Like I haven't rounded the proper corner to see where I need to go. And the same thing is for when you're working towards something. So it's not a linear line. It's not like this magical, yes, sure, okay, YouTube has this thing where you reach a certain amount of subscribers and watch time, you're going to get that magical thing that allows you to be monetized. But is that necessarily going to come in a linear fashion? Do I magically get the exact same amount of subscribers and views a day? No, I don't. That's not how that works. But that's the thing. You got to not care what people think, and you got to just focus on what you can do. Because at the end of the day, it does not matter whether they hate on you or not. If you're putting in the proper work, the right kind of people who enjoy that sort of thing, or enjoy the work you're doing in your side hustle and are willing to pay for it, those people will be the people that matter. And people that are hating, they should probably keep it to themselves, because negative energy for them is just them expressing their insecurities about themselves. Most of the time. Sometimes hate's a little bit warranted, like with the whole fake online guru business that's going around. I feel like that's like a separate self-development sort of sector that's just snake oil salesmen, like selling online courses. If I make a course, I've determined it's not Skillshare, man. Like where you can use a free trial for 2 months, maybe some Udemy courses. I'm not sure, but like something that's cheap, because those guys sell $1,000 courses that the quality is just not good. Thomas Frank, man, once again, 10 out of 10 on the Skillshare courses. 10 out of 10, Ali Abdal. Didn't watch your how to take note or take tests one, because I'm a marketing guy. I don't need that. If I was a pre-med major, or if I was going into med school, I'd watch that. But sorry, not going to. Maybe. You're a cool guy. Maybe one day. But like I said, you just have to not care what people think. And then going into that, I mean, it's kind of a big deal what happened to me as of what I'm recording this, about a week ago was when it happened. Actually, the 17th, I think, is when it happened. Well, it's the 25th now, so the Friday night would have been the 17th, and this is a Saturday morning. So I got all my videos deleted, and man, I still go back and forth in my head on what happened, because I swore I pressed cancel upload. But what if I didn't, and I was just kind of in a rush and wasn't thinking about it? Because what happened was, I was uploading my first vlog, the Rise Productive vlog, which that series has been fun, by the way. I was uploading my first vlog, and the next thing I know, I want to go to bed. And it's like 9:30. I'm like, I gotta get to bed, man. I know, that sounded so lame. Oh my God. That sounded so lame saying it like that, but I gotta get to bed, right? It's 9:30. I'm tired. I've been up since 5. Probably 4:30 that day. Yeah, no, that's the vlog. I got up at 4:30. Yeah, I needed to get to bed. I was dead. And, I turned off my PC, but I had a vlog that was going onto OneDrive and it was uploading, and I had the same vlog also being uploaded to YouTube, and it was at like 80%. And maybe in the back of my head I thought it was done, or I just wasn't thinking because I was tired. But I turned off my PC, and I was like, oh, shoot. And then I hit cancel, turning it off. Like, the shutdown anyway option when other things are running is always a good fail-safe to cancel a shutdown so you don't have to reboot your PC, by the way. So I always hit shutdown anyway, because I always save stuff habitually, so it doesn't matter if programs close while the PC is shutting down. Maybe I'm corrupting some files I don't know about, but that's usually how I do it. Anyways, I was shutting it down, and then I turn it back on, or I hit cancel, and I go to YouTube, and the file stops uploading naturally because I cut it off. And when you cut off the connection to something, usually you have to reboot the upload, or you have to wait a significant amount of time. And I kind of like seeing the thing go up, rather than stopping for like 30 minutes and then going up again. Considering it only was going to take 20 minutes to upload, I figured that was probably the right case to cancel it. And I probably deleted all the videos instead of canceling it somehow. Maybe I checked a box. Actually, now I think about it, I checked a box and hit delete. But I don't remember checking every box. But since it's towards the top, and YouTube's new YouTube Studio, I noticed afterwards that the top box of the top video and the top box of selecting all is really close to each other and kind of has a bit of an overlap on your mouse. So it's very possible I accidentally deleted all my own videos on my own accord. It's very possible. I just don't want to believe that. I mean, granted, I totally could have. So that probably happened. But how bad I felt that night, there's no words to describe it. I mean, granted, I had only had a YouTube channel for 2.5 weeks. Maybe even 3 weeks. I think that was like exactly 3 weeks. I was upset. I mean, I was genuinely upset because the momentum I had been gaining was good. I was getting consistent momentum, and every day or every 2 days I'd get like 8 subs, and like I was on pace to like 50 a week, which is good. By the time the summer's over, that's 1,000. To me, that's a good starting point. And the next thing I know, all my videos are gone. All the analytics I have are gone. So like YouTube's just not going to care about all my videos. The watch time's gone. The engagement's gone. I'm not going to get any like browse features. I'm not going to get anything. I'd been producing content for 3 weeks, granted, like I said, but something is better than nothing. And it was just hard to see all the progress go away. So instead of caring what other people thought, granted, I did still think about it in the back of my head, but I acted on it anyways. I asked my friends. I asked anybody. Social media blasts. I individually asked people. Different circles in my life. I asked people like, hey, I'm going to re-upload all my videos. Can you please rewatch them? And if you have the time, leave a comment. Because I just need the engagement back so I can get the ball rolling on the channel. And the world is kind if you're trying to do good things, apparently. Because people have been so nice since then. Everyone was like, hey, I'll rewatch your videos. You're trying to do a good thing here, and I appreciate it. And people have been awesome. Honestly, they've been awesome. And they made up far more than I've lost. I think I've gained in the past week more subs than I had any other time, because I got a bunch of reposts and a bunch of stuff like that, and I messaged some individual people that I felt like I needed to ask. And I had no sort of, what are they going to think of me? Because I did think it. Don't get me wrong. I thought it, but I acted on it regardless of the thought of what are people going to think of me. You can't limit your actions based on what people will think of you. And that's the biggest thing that I want to get across. But I was feeling so bad that night. And that Friday night, I was devastated. The next morning, my social media blast, I asked all my friends, all that kind of stuff. And I gained 50 subs in a day. Like, what? What? How? What? For me, that's a lot. I mean, that was a quarter of I was at 150 and then I got to 200 in the day. Since what happened, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess things happen for a reason. It's probably a good thing that happened. Because one, I'll never make that mistake again. And two, there's going to be a very long period of time between now and when I'd actually get the videos back from YouTube, because YouTube's policy has changed from, not everybody's a creator now in the same eyes that they had before. Like, their sort of creator support is only for people who have monetization, which is, like I said, 1,000 subs. And I think it's 4,000 watch hours. Those are the limits, or those are the things that you need to get there. And it's going to be a relatively large period of time where that's going to happen. And I can't handle that happening again. But the first 3 weeks losing that, I could probably handle that. The first 3 weeks. But now I'm only going to hit cancel upload probably on my phone, or make sure I press the cancel upload button on my PC. But I'll never make that mistake again. And this long period of time leading up to when I wouldn't actually get back the videos from YouTube, because once I am a full-time creator in their eyes, they will restore the videos for you. But until you reach that point, they say tough luck, it's your fault, pretty much. They're like, we understand it's very important to you, but we can't do anything about it. Once you get to a certain point, though, they will let you get them back, and I can sleep a little more soundly anytime I press cancel upload, not thinking it's going to delete all my videos. So that happened. It was probably a good thing. And like I said, just broad recap, it's going to take a lot of time, but it all has to start somewhere. So doing it day in and day out, little bits here and there, taking breaks every once in a while for a day, going towards it in the right direction, it's going to be the way to success, and not caring what people think along the way. And I'm in that point of getting started, and I'm not going to say I'm successful, but what I have done so far has been pretty good regarding my standards of feedback and my standards of how many people are happy with what I'm doing. And for the most part, people have been pretty happy with it. So I'm glad that that's the case, and I'm going to keep making content that hopefully people enjoy and that people can improve their lives from. I'm going to learn a lot more about myself as this process goes on, and I want to make it clear that I'm not perfect, and anytime I come off as I know what I'm talking about, I probably, just had learned that in the past year or less. So anyone can improve their lives. I was not in a similar spot a year ago. I was just not. Just a hard stop. I was not in a similar spot mentally or productivity-wise as I am now. So it can change for anybody. Whenever you think about it, it can change. You just change that mindset, do some research on self-development stuff, and the next thing you know, you're going to be in a much better spot than you were before. So for me, I think this is getting to a close. I've been talking for a while, and I got over all the topics for the day. I don't think I've missed anything. This has been weird. I've been talking for 50 minutes. That's good, though. Hey, it's content. And it's more off the top of the head than anything else. It's outlines. And I think a lot of my videos are scripted. And the vlogs are a little less scripted. I want to make that clear. The vlogs are a little less scripted. I don't have to deal with, the whole, hey, sit down in front of a microphone and a camera and just stare at it like this. No, I don't have to do that. Those of you in the audio versions of the podcast don't get to see that. If you want to watch it in video format, if you're not already watching in video format on my YouTube channel, you can find it on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Demetri Panici. Dang, that name's hard to say even for me. It's okay, though. I'll deal with it. I live with it. But yeah, it's been a wonderful experience so far. I really appreciate all the supports. Some shameless plugs again for Thomas Frank, Matt Diavella, Ali Abdal, Better Ideas, all those guys. Great content. Check out their stuff. I even like Graham Stephan a lot and Nate O'Brien. Those are two good personal finance type of people. So all those type of people really changed my outlook on what productive was, what happy was, what doing things in a way to improve yourself was. So on your path towards self-development, I plugged them at the end of my book, and I think it's really important that all of you should go check out their stuff if you want to build a better life for yourself, as I always say. I don't know where I got that phrase from. I just kind of came up with it as I was building the website. So anyways, thank you very much for tuning in to the first episode of the Rise Productive podcast. Hopefully I'll have guests on in the future, and hopefully this will be a little more fledged out. Like I said, the vlogs are a little less scripted. They have like bullet points. This has like outline bullet points, and then the formal videos are just straight up, scripted with me ad-libbing a little bit. So I got to figure out what works for this channel, what you guys like, and I will go with that accordingly. Definitely think of the vlogs are something that you guys like, and hopefully you like this as well. So once again, thank you very much for tuning into the Rise Productive podcast, and I will see you guys in the next one.